Hello, folks, and welcome to the podcast from the Pitlane, episode 6. So we are close to getting, double-digit episodes, and we're progressing slowly and steadily. Yeah, so meeting our expectations. So today we'll be reviewing Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but before that, you might be wondering why is my background different? So it's not a digital background or background effect. So I have immigrated to Canada for my masters. Yeah. So
Necessary enough to
so now there'll be time zone conflicts to record the podcast.
uh,
So I hope that then that won't be a concern. We'll record it. So yeah, that's that from the podcast. But for me it was like a Thanos kind of thing. I had to travel and I missed Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and God, that was such a good race. From quali to the race itself, it was so good. I remember sitting at the airport, I saw the notification that surprise podium, and I thought, okay, so instead of Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas, it might be, you know, Hamilton, Verstappen, and some midfield guy, maybe Gasly. And I opened the notification, and it was like Perez won the race, Vettel is on the podium, Gasly finished third, and I was like, what? What have I missed? What have I done? I mean,
you missed one of the best races of 2021 so far.
yeah.
No, I would say the best race,
The
not one
best
of the
race.
best, the best
The
race.
best race.
That's why I said
Exactly.
no. That in my case, it was like a Thanos, a soul for a soul.
We can understand.
You win something, you lose something.
Yeah, man, exactly. I mean, I would regret it for rest of my life, missing this. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, guys, I think that Akshat would be, taking the lead in this podcast because I have no idea about the race. I just know the result. So, yeah, take it away.
What just happened?
Yeah, so hello folks. As you know, I'm Akshat Naik, and I'll be hosting the Azerbaijan Grand Prix review today for our this podcast only. So, Vanshil will be providing us some technical info about some things. We'll ask him. He has to answer some things, so he'll be in the podcast. Don't worry about that. So after Monaco GP, somewhat boring race, we finally get into Azerbaijan, Baku,
Hey, that
and
wasn't a boring race, bro. The podium was
for
good.
me,
Why
for me,
Podium
it was
was
a
good.
boring
that's
race.
the
See,
Only
podium
podium was
boring in the
only
sense there was no any sort of incident. I consider it, but Monaco is like
no, no,
these
not
sort of
not some
races.
kind.
a classic circuit.
These sort of races
Yeah.
you always wait to get organized.
I mean, the car
So
train
what?
expected. It comes with the Monaco package. You cannot,
Yeah,
yeah,
No,
very
I wasn't talking about the train or anything. I was talking about the no overtaking any like they
with
were.
Monaco.
I, I
No.
s-
You can only
But no,
open.
I've seen it. I saw. I sent you guys a footage of 1975 and those races where they take overtakes like their life depends on it. So in Monaco, we have seen amazing overtake. It's not like it was the first. It was going for centuries that Monaco. We always see the Monaco train and there is no overtake. But it was for this only one race. There was no overtake. Some kind of they weren't taking any risk or anything. It was just going the way it was going, and no incident. Obviously, that kind of bored me also. So I meant boring by that, not boring
but at the end of the
by
day, the subtle Monaco GB was, I think, that was spicy. Azerbaijan was.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
that spiced up Azerbaijan
yeah,
excel. You are right. That spiced up Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That excited us to watch Azerbaijan because we were looking after. We were expecting some red flags and yellow flags and some amazing overtakes at turn one and everything like Ricardo did in 2016, I guess, right?
The best overtake so
so
far.
Yeah.
basically what happened is you have all
So
the red flags from Monaco share in Baku itself. In quali
yeah, exactly.
combined.
Exactly. So there was I was gonna start. in qualifying. We get into free practice and everything, and we get into qualifying. And in Q1, we don't see red flags in qualifying that much, and not in Q1 many times. And we saw red flag in Q1. Lance Stroll at turn 15, the cursed turn 15. So, Paaji, what do you want to say about that?
The curve turn 15 in Azerbaijan is very, very technical. I must tell you. Even the game, if you are running on a nominal setup or the predetermined setup, you always have either an oversteer or an understeer, and you ended up getting to the wall. That is actually that's a very technical turn over there, and amazing these guys are. Actually, I was observing Verstappen in the race. He was like this close, you know, this close. But at the end of the day, his consistency at turn 15 was amazing, and I really found it Verstappen basically. I'm actually mentioning Verstappen to be very much consistent at turn 15, the first turn, seriously.
Yeah. So that was ended. That didn't ended actually Q1. They are gone after that too. And after we get into Q2, uh, Q2 we again got a red flag, and it was Giovinazzi this time. Again at
What
turn
do you
15.
say,
So Bhrugu, you
what do you
wanna
think?
share
Yeah,
something about on that?
yeah. I'll echo Paaji because generally in any other circuits you have turns which have straights. I mean, by straight, straight breaking points. So, and that's a key word here because all the drivers, all in any motorsports, they want to break in straight line. But here you can't do that because you
Yeah.
have just just tapered surface over there off camber, and you have almost flat out corner before that. So braking here is so important, and you can mess up easily over there. So yeah,
Cars actually skid, the cars actually skid
exactly.
on the
Yeah,
turns.
it's off camber, so you lose rear very easily, and if you brake too hard, you lose front very easily. So you have to be very optimal at turn 15, or else you just end up in barrier or you
Uh,
destroy your lap time.
if you talk about turn 15, you also have to consider, if you turn it too early just to hit the apex and, get your braking right, you also have to worry about your weight balance. You cannot turn it very, very wildly just to make the apex and lose less time. It will eventually spin your car around. So,
Exactly.
Baku
Because
just designed this way,
if you if you see that there's a slope downhill from there. It's not that much, but it's a gradient over there. So you lose your rear there too. So it's a very technical corner, as Padi said. Yes.
But true, at the same time, in a simulation race, I also try to, early break it rather
Yeah.
than out of the 3D analog which is mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah. I have done that.
If you break earlier to just, just
Yeah.
save the car at turn 15,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
may lose a lot of seconds. I would say
Exactly.
500ths of a second. Seriously, you lose a lot of
Yeah. Yeah.
time over there.
Exactly.
At the
You have
same
to be
time, you
optimal.
make break, your car is gone.
And
Exactly.
actually, there
That's
is only fraction of a second of time to brake, or you have to decide either you're gonna turn or you're gonna go straight into the runaway area. If you
exactly.
won't decide in time, and then you're gonna end up in the barrier. So
That's
that's
the
what turn
thing.
15 is all about.
Actually get the same situation as with turn 8 as well, the castle turn. But this time the
They changed it.
folks were
Yeah,
like, okay, we are biased in this and we allow you to, have some plain area
uh,
over there so that you
exactly.
don't bounce your car.
Yeah, they made the turn it a little bit smaller, so it was a good news for Charles Leclerc.
No, actually
He
the
is
speed you
not gonna
carry
end
at
up
turn 8,
saying I'm stupid.
no, actually the speed you carry at turn 8 was a bit higher in the race.
Yeah. It was 15 kp. It's higher than you generally can
Yeah.
do.
It's
Yeah.
the similar amount of kph you get in VR, tag reduction
Yeah.
system.
Exactly. Exactly. And cars nowadays is so wide. So you have to do that, or else
I know.
it will be
You know
Monaco.
what I was thinking is the castle section entry. We should name that Corvo Stupido. I mean, just to honor Charles Leclerc and that Wall's relationship, we should rename it to Corvo Stupido. I mean, if
And
FIA
this
and
time also he knocked up the car at P3, I guess. Practice section 3.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
He knocked the
even
car over
Baku,
there.
Leclerc is in Ferrari. He's bound to end up in that wall because traditions, as the legend himself says it, what as traditions. You have to follow the traditions. So let's just
Yeah,
rename that corner into Cavo Stupido or something like that. Italianic thing.
Oh, it's amazing.
exactly. And after that, we get into Q3, and in Q3 we got two red flags. That was quite, unseen for many races. And first red flag was caused by Daniel Ricciardo again at turn 50. Again, due to the same thing of, as Bhrugu mentioned, either the late braking or wheel locking. It's a fraction of second, as you say, that to decide either you're gonna go straight to runoff area or either you're gonna turn. Sorry about that. I just got informed by Paaji that it was Q2. Yes.
Paaji policing the
In
podcast.
Not policing, actually just correcting the stats,
Uh,
Q2,
I'd be very happy if Ricardo
Ricardo caused the second red flag. So Paaji. Yeah, so after that, again, we get into the Q3. All the drama continued. Again, the Q3 as Monaco GP ended with a red flag due to
yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda and Carlos Leclerc both getting into turn 4.
so
Yuki Tsunoda
basically,
hit by a barrier,
basically now we
and
are seeing what
and we get
the whole the great Ferrari plan is about.
Master Blam.
Ferrari's master plan.
Yeah.
Cause a red flag and you get a podium.
For
Easily.
Bingo.
Yeah, pole position. Sorry. Yeah, you
it's
get a pole
every
position.
time from
And
below.
every time Leclerc is involved.
Yeah,
Pole
so
position.
this time again Leclerc got the pole position,
Yeah.
and this time it wasn't Leclerc who caused the red flag, but he did got the pole position, and then we get into race. So before we get into the race, let me tell you the results.
Yeah, he
Unexpected, nobody thought of it. People would love to hear
hit the
this
rundown.
kind of yeah results. So podium was like Perez, Vettel, and Pierre Gasly.
Love it.
The total unexpected result. Fourth was Charles Leclerc. Fifth was Lando Norris, amazing performance. Sixth was Alonso, amazing performance. Seventh was Tsunoda, amazing performance. Ninth was Ricardo, again amazing performance. And 10th was our finally Iceman scoring his first point in 2021 season, Kimi Raikkonen. 11.
After this, I would like to say sad Mercedes noises. Man, that would that would
Let,
have
let, let,
so
let me complete.
Where
Let me
Aditya
complete.
is.
So
Aditya.
11 was Giovinazzi,
You haunting
12 was Bottas. You'll be shocked, Vanshil, after hearing this. 12 was Bottas, 13 was Schumacher, and 14 was Mazepin. Out of 17, 13 was Schumacher and 14 was Mazepin. 15 was Hamilton, 16 was Latifi, 17 was Russell, and Verstappen, Stroll, and Ocon did not finish. So that was the result.
A question, as Arnav Goswami says, the nation wants to know: is Hamilton's career over? He got beaten by.
I don't
No,
think
no,
so.
no, no,
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
no.
think so.
no, no, no,
I mean, of
no.
course, it's all about jokes.
Let
It's all about jokes.
Vanshil, let the question, let the question be in the end. Let's jump into the race. Lights out, and away we go. And on the first turn, the old Sebastian Vettel comes out of the older version of Sebastian Vettel comes out in the Aston Martin and takes two overtake and goes from P11 to P8. Amazing moves.
Awesome.
Yeah. So Bhrugu, go ahead.
Exactly. I was kind of expecting that because he had that pace in quali too, but he missed that by I don't know
Three
thousands.
Red
hundredths of
flag.
a second.
Red flag. Red flag. Red flag.
Yeah,
He missed
Three
it by red
hundredths of
flag.
a second. 300ths of a
exactly.
second.
So I was expecting that from him, and it's good to see that he's getting comfortable in that car. So, yeah, that was
Exactly.
amazing start by him.
Yeah.
Actually, we were
So
waiting since 2020, I guess.
Yeah, man.
The
I mean,
power pack performance from Sebastian.
20,
and
2018 and was, the last when we saw, Sebastian Vettel winning and going at big time, sending it out
Yeah.
outside,
actually,
inside, all the way. When 2019 and 2020 was, you know, very unexpected. So yeah, it's so good to see him doing well, man.
exactly. And Perez started off great. He took over to Sainz and got exactly after Pierre Gasly. And on lap three, Hamilton started catching up with Leclerc.
Guys,
Lap four,
actually, what you missed was a very underrated overtake by Antonio Giovinazzi. He started P20, but in a single turn, he was at P70. He took three overtakes in a single turn, and no one
That's
noticed it.
well,
the
I
that's
mean,
the
He's
I
price
was,
of consistency. So you
I
cannot
had a whole thing in mind. Just let me finish. I have a whole section of the underrated drivers. I want to discuss you at the end of this race. So please keep those underrated drivers in your heart, and
so it's
let's
No,
move
but
forward in the race.
I was very impressed with the move what
No,
he
no,
did.
no, no,
He
no, no.
totally
I
reminds
am
me of
impressed.
Pitlane what Gasly did.
Not just Giovinazzi. I'm impressed with Lance Stroll. I'm impressed with Pierre
Amazing
Gasly for quite a
driver,
few
Lance.
times. And these drivers are totally underrated drivers. So I wanna, I thought in mind that as Vanshil told that I'm gonna host this podcast. So I thought I'm gonna create a whole section about underrated drivers
so
for
basically
that.
what
So
Akshat is trying to say is he's gonna make my editing life harder. That's it.
Yeah.
exactly, man. If you're gonna give me the hosting, I'm gonna make you
Oh,
laugh harder because I wanna give you something more. So basically, we get into lap four. Verstappen started catching up with Hamilton and Leclerc both. Then, on lap four, Ocon retires due to power loss. The unexpected result for poor Esteban Ocon. On lap five, the Sir Lewis Hamilton took overtake of Charles Leclerc and took the leadership of the race. What do you want to say about that move? What was your mind going on there or your mind, Paji?
See, obviously, Ferrari is developing. It's not developed, it's developing. So, straight line speeds, okay, we considered Mercedes are a pioneer in straight line speeds. So, yeah, that was kind of expected because 1.4 miles of straight is like, you know, entering the straight at speed of around 170, and taking that speed down to the lane by 320, 330. So, I definitely expected that this is going to happen, but this soon, that was a bit considered. Okay, what are your views?
Yeah, I
Prabhu.
was kind of too, you know, expecting that move. But yeah, not this early. But yeah, then I thought like that they were saving tires. This track is very aggressive. You need to save your tires. So he won't waste his tires just to defend of Mercedes, which is quite very quick on the straight. So you destroy your tires whole lap. You on in castle area, castle section, last section. So you won't you don't want to do that in this track. So you just give off that place and might as we have seen you get chance later.
Exactly. And I thought that Mercedes was quite wanted to do that attacking move. They were desperate to do this kind of attacking stuff because after Monaco GP, they are just feeling not good about their cars. So they wanted to be on the attacking mode whatever the result happens, they didn't care about that. They only focused on attacking move, and they wanted the leadership of the race. And Hamilton did that for them. Afterwards, on the lap 7, we get into, and Max Verstappen takes overtake of Charles Leclerc. So now we again got the Hammer on the first, second position. Again got the battle, championship battle going on between two finest of this season. And there was some amazing moves by both of them. So, and again, Hamilton started complaining about his balance entire life.
You have to
Literally.
expect that in each and every race, man. That's the Formula One Grand Prix. You will have Hamilton complaining on the radio.
Yeah, exactly. So on going on everything and that, and uh, who took advantage of all of that was Perez. Perez took Pierre Gasly on lap 6 and took Charles Leclerc on 8th. So he is now in P3. And that man can save his tire. We all know that.
He's the tire
So
wizard, I guess. Perez could
exactly.
take softs to almost what 25, 30 laps. He can take mediums to 40,
51.
50, 55 laps, and he could practically take hards to
Barcelona.
on freeway to
To
Mexico.
end of the race.
He can complete the race.
Exactly, complete the race.
He could even take it to Mexico, man.
I mean,
As
the way he
Sebastian
manages
said,
his tire.
yeah, as Sebastian said, I'm done. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Perez can do that.
Yeah, man. Exactly. And then on lap 19, as Charles Leclerc started losing pace, we started to see the pit lane games.
Yeah.
Lap 9, Charles Leclerc pitted. Then on lap 10,
Lap
we
9.
heard,
Seriously, lap 9.
on lap 9, they told to box Charles Leclerc. He pitted on lap 10. You won't believe Russell pitted on lap 4.
Yeah, man, that's too early. That's so early. I mean,
They were trying to go long in the game. They were trying to undercut everybody. They were thinking that we are gonna start this pit lane game and we're gonna undercut everybody because Russell was already struggling with the car. So they did. Afterwards, Giovinazzi got in the pit lane. They changed their tires, and then on lap 10, Leclerc got in. On lap 10, we hear Yuki Tsunoda's radio saying that push the car, and that man aggressively says, "Shut up, let me drive."
I'm doing that.
No, actually, true. I'll ask you because if you consider Formula 2 drivers, they are very much aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
even watching the Formula 2 sprint races or endurance races, just heard their dream videos. You'll find that each and every driver. Actually, most of the drivers are like very aggressive.
Yeah,
If you ask them to push them, अरे और क्या कर रहा है मैं?
exactly. And they have so much to prove because they
Yeah,
they
man,
all are aiming for
seriously.
Formula One, and
Yeah,
they have so
seriously.
much to prove, and still, and their engineer calling out that push your car is not a great sign. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So
but they
he
reply
was
like that.
not happy. He was not happy about that. Afterwards, on lap 11, Vanshil, you were saying that you are shocked on lap 10 that Charles Leclerc pit. On lap 12, Mercedes pitted Hamilton.
so was it
You won't believe, you know.
was
You
it slow
you
or was it
you.
okay? The stop. That's
It
what I
was slow pit stop, 4.6 second of
no.
pit stop, but it was not the mistake of their pit stop engineer or anything. It was because Pierre Gasly was getting in, and they had to, sorry, Yuki Tsunoda was getting in, and they had to stop Hamilton until Yuki Tsunoda passes their car. So
Okay.
that's why they had to, stop Hamilton from going,
Yeah.
and that took a bit of time for Hamilton go, and that was very costly for him because after that, on lap 13, Verstappen pitted and he overcut Hamilton. He
1.9
got ahead of
seconds.
exactly
1.9
1.9 second of
seconds.
pit stop, and he got ahead of
Masters.
Yeah.
the fastest of this
And if
season till now.
yeah, and if if Red Bull haven't messed up the Perez's speed, they would have overcut both car easily. As
Exactly, and
Yes.
Romain.
exactly after that they pitted Perez, and they kind of missed. As you said, they kind of messed up his, and yet and yet he was ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, he was a
Yet he was
It
ahead
was
of
a,
Lewis
it
Hamilton.
was yeah, it was 4.3 seconds pit stop. So
Yeah, exactly. So yet he was ahead
Plus,
of
plus,
Lewis Hamilton.
if Hamilton would have been struggling with the balance and tire temperatures on his outlap, he would have lost so much time, especially in sector at the end of sector two and in class castle section and down, before the hairpin, final hairpin.
yeah.
So yeah, that would have made his life more worse if he was struggling with
Exactly.
temperatures.
Exactly. So if that pit stop wasn't of 4.3 second, Perez would have so he would have been in front of Verstappen probably, might be leading the race. So on that time, Sebastian Vettel was leading the race.
Oh,
Good
Only for
time.
one lap,
5 lap.
only for one lap, Sebastian Vettel in Aston Martin led a lap.
oh man,
And every F1
that would
fan,
sounds good. So that would be obviously
yeah,
so good to see.
yeah, exactly. So we get ahead and everything was going. And while in the behind, I wanna again go to Mercedes, sad Mercedes noises. Valtteri Bottas was losing positions. And not to a good guys, he was losing position to Alfa Romeo guys.
Ooh, that's like rubbing salt in the wound, man. I mean, they're way behind. I think they're tail enders. I mean, they're not even a midfield team anymore. I mean, no offense to Alfa Romeo,
They I
but yeah, still, that's
I want to say that if we heard all that they were facing a little bit issue on their front wing. They picked the wrong front wing in that free practice. That's why they changed the front wing and that. So after I researched something about that, and I got to know that they both the driver choose different option of ground force setup.
yeah.
Hamilton
And rear wing.
Hamilton yeah, and also the rear wing. So Hamilton choose low ground force setup, and Bottas chose higher ground force setup, and we saw the result. Also, Hamilton chose to be go second in the qualifying to get the toe of Bottas and get the
I
advantages.
mean,
So that was
I
kind of
don't understand why Bottas had went for this high downforce setup if he did, because Baku has a longer straight than China. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yeah,
that
it is
straight
yeah, exactly.
need to have
almost
the
double, I guess.
perfect
But
set. Yeah,
yeah,
perfect
but
balance
same
because
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead, bro.
same thing. Sergio Perez opted for that high downforce setup, and it benefited him because he was
Exactly.
faster in castle section and the
Exactly.
last sector too. So
So
it's in the cars. The Mercedes complained they have the longest car. So yeah, you have to have setups like that with in harmony with your car.
exactly. So after leading the one lap, Sebastian Vettel finally pits, and we get our top three for lap 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 till lap 30. Our leaders were Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton, and a P4 was Lance Stroll. So we were thinking that Lance Stroll will be on podium, and Pirelli betrayed Alfa,
Of course,
sorry,
because
Aston Martin.
I have insider news on this. The thing is
Yeah,
that
sharing.
the thing is that Daddy Stroll, Daddy Stroll wanted to invest, in Pirelli so that he can make up things and do something. So might be Pirelli boss wasn't happy. I mean, anything can
But
happen at this
You
it,
never know. You never know. Bullets later
yeah,
will
I think, but yeah, it's just jokes apart. Don't take it seriously, guys. It's just a
And
joke.
if
But
Lance Stroll, sorry, Daddy Stroll is listening, is please don't kill me. I'm in Canada, so I have to be careful. I'm in
yeah,
this
so
territory.
so that happens, and it called out safety car. So finally, we got our first yellow flag and safety car, and after safety car I got, and it was a quite a big accident. It wasn't like a normal incident. He didn't even understand what happened. He was quite a shook, and he was just saying that get me out of this. Lance Stroll was kind of shook off by that incident.
It was
So
very
after
bad,
that,
bad place to be.
sadly, even after he hitting the barrier, he was still trying to keep the car out of the middle section of the lap, middle section of the
Yeah.
track.
And
He
there,
was still trying his best because he knew if I end up in the middle section of the track, it will be disastrous. They
Like
might have to
Anton,
cancel the race. Exactly. So after all that, we finally get Arpit's, safety car restart and amazing restart by Giovinazzi again and Alonso. You know, they both did an amazing restart. Alonso came on P8, I think, I believe. Am
yeah,
I right, Paji? Yeah, he got into P8 and Giovinazzi was on P14. So P14 no, sorry, P14, he actually overtook Bottas
yeah.
in a restart. So Bottas was on P14 at
Oh,
that time, behind both the Alfa Romeo and everybody. Every main players behind every main players, Bottas was there. He was losing grades, and we were going and we were going. So, what do you want to say about those moves, Paji?
see, man. Was safety car restart, I was definitely like, if you look at some of the starts or some of the restarts, what Bing have been doing to the cars which are in inside, they actually, like they put pressure on cars which are in inside of the line. I've seen this a lot of time in this particular season and like twice in this race itself. So yeah, because if you are inside and an opponent is like pushing you hard, rather than pushing or rather than focusing or rather than accelerating the car, you also focus on where to counter it. You know. So I think that balance ended up losing some time.
And it was like Bottas was losing time behind many cars. He was trying to overtake, and then in turn 16 he got out of the track, and that lost him time. And he was trying to overtake Norris, and then after that he wasn't just getting any pay for his car. So that happened, and we saw some awesome Ricardo moves as well on that restart. Ricardo did amazing move. He ended up on
Amazing.
P9.
So after a
Yeah,
very after a very long time, I saw Ricardo doing late breaks, and I was like,
late
man,
breaks.
this this is
Exactly.
this is what I want from Ricardo.
Yeah, so sorry. Again, Zoom interrupted us. So we were on going and going for lap after the safety car restart. It was an amazing start. Verstappen did his best to hold up the grid till the end of the finishing line, and then Perez did amazing to don't let Hamilton pass him. He was doing amazing the whole race, Perez. And then we get into the lap 48, where again the disaster happened. Again, Pirelli betrays, and this time it's Verstappen who gets into the
Both
barrier.
the same tires, rear lifts,
Both
Yeah,
both the
were
same
rear
tires,
left. Both were
both
the
the
rear
rear,
lefts.
both the same
Yeah,
tires.
exactly.
exactly.
And and
And
and and,
and
and
the
the worst
special,
thing was And the worst thing was there was nothing on this sensors.
yeah,
That
and
was the worst thing.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
and the suspicious thing was that to decrease degradation on this abrasive track, we really just increase the maximum allowed pressure, tire pressure for this GP. So,
Yeah.
Really.
still they are blaming on the debris, which doesn't make much sense. But yeah, here we are.
No, actually, debris. I won't go and like okay, debris was the only issue, but at the same time, in FP1, if you remember, Carlos Sainz nose cone was holding a big old, blue colored plastic bag, like in FP1 or FP2, I don't remember. But a Ferrari car was holding a blue colored polythene bag on its nose cone, which
Yeah.
was flown over from the forward car. I'm not aware of who was the
It
forward,
was
who was
FP1, I
who
guess.
was
It was
driving.
FP1, I guess.
Yeah, it was
It
FP1.
was, I
So
think.
Azerbaijan, we even teams are prepared for debris. But in a very layman language, if we consider, crash of Verstappen was more critical or more dangerous than that of Lance Stroll, because
But even after, Paji, they were saying that it was because of debris, as Pirelli was saying. But, if that was the case about debris, then why only happened in the left rear?
only
Why
happened
it
in left
didn't do?
rear, only happened in left rear, and apart from this, it was under a typical range. If they are considering 40 laps, both the accidents happened under 25 to 30 laps.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And again,
And
getting back to the topic in a very layman language, Lance Stroll's accident was okay, that was around 200 to 50. Obviously not okay, but the speeds were on to like 250s or something. But at the same time,
Exactly.
Verstappen's, it was like, it was at the
It was
grid position.
faster.
It was at
yeah,
the
yeah,
grid position, 140 meters straight, and then you need to brake for the turn, or 90-degree
just
one,
before
not
the
the
braking zone. Yeah,
Yeah.
normal braking zone. At around 300, 320, you are clocking, and at the same time, tire works out. Disastrous. Could have been more than
Yes,
this.
exactly, man. Exactly. It could have been a disaster. Again, if he was in the center of the track, it would have been a disaster. Again, the same thing for him.
Exactly, exactly,
So
exactly.
after that, we again got a safety car, double yellow flags, and that means that they are gonna, before the double yellow flags, we heard a Red Bull calling FIA radio. Red
Yeah,
Bull's chief engineer saying that we should reflect so that because these tires are not reliable, and we have to give them a time to change the tires so that this kind of thing doesn't happen again. So that was an amazing thing. It was kind of selfish, but it was an amazing thing for the whole grid because they were thinking about every driver. They weren't just
we
thinking
can't
about their.
consider selfishness. We can't consider selfishness because that was the another mistake on the same tire. So they were pretty
Exactly,
concerned
exactly. No, no,
because this track is like very complicated, and you are carrying a very high speeds.
exactly.
Whether
And
nominal time,
and
nominal time.
because why I was saying a selfish reasons because Checo Perez was trying to hold back their suspension. I think there he because there he had some problem with his suspension. I think if I remember it correctly, because at the end of the race he stopped his car. He didn't
Yeah,
get back
yeah,
to the
yeah,
pit lane.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
I was
just
suspicious. I wasn't knowing the reason. I was suspicious for it. Okay.
exactly. So after that we get a safety car. Some yellow flags came in, and after that we got a red flag that ended the session. Some people didn't think that the race was gonna start, but they started a race. They allowed everyone to change their tires,
But
and
at the same time, they took a lap. They took a lap before
they took a lap on
yeah,
safety car.
before totally setting onto the stop. But at the same time, it was a
Exactly.
pit lane. It was a pit lane.
Pit lane lap. It was, yeah. They
Pit
had
lane
to
lap.
go
But
inside of the pit
actually,
lane.
one car was there who took a normal straight.
Nicolas Latifi. Nicolas
Yeah,
Latifi. I was about to say that when Nicolas Latifi was about to reach pit lane entry, their engineer said, "Stay out, stay out." So basically, that's driver's
communication.
instinct to stay. Yeah, that was driver's instinct to stay out on the track.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they didn't mention that they stay out in the pit lane, don't get into the pit line and start changing tire. We have to be in pit lane. They didn't mention that. So poor Latifi got out on the track, and that cost him a penalty for stop and go of 10 seconds. And that also got him for a penalty of 8 points on no 3 points on super licenses. Also, he caused that 3 points on super license. So
that
that
was
was.
a bit unfair because that was team's mistake, not his. Yeah,
But it was the driver who driving the car. So
Under such conditions, under such bad calls, you usually either reprimand the driver or the team both. Because if you remember, the similar thing happened with Hamilton also. He crossed the bollard into the pit lane, and then after the bollard, he rejoined the track. So he was reprimanded for like 300,000 euros or something like that. But he wasn't
exactly,
penalized. So that's not fair, I guess, from FIA.
exactly, exactly. So
At the
after
same
that,
time, Hamilton did this sort of mistake again back in 2020, I guess, where while reforming the grid, when for the very first time you form the grid, and you have sort
Practice
of
start. Yeah, in Russia.
yeah,
In
sort of a practice start.
Russia.
We did two practice starts, and
Yeah.
one was authorized, one was unauthorized.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously that was a mistake. That was a proper driver's mistake when he took his hands off and like, oh, I didn't know.
really, really.
But
So
obviously, on a main track, on a very main track, on a very live track, who does the practice run?
exactly.
Sort of nasty, but okay.
Yeah. So after that, we finally get to restart. Was from starting
Where
again
to
from
where
this.
everything got more spicy. I was waiting.
Exactly. So on lap 50, they go again in the under the safety car. Then they go into starting position, and it's again lights out. Away we go. Hamilton leads the grid, and due to his overheating of his brake, tire locks up, and he gets out of the track. And it's Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel, and Pierre Gasly, top three.
I mean, I watched the replay. I had no idea that where Hamilton has finished and what has happened. I saw the top 10. I thought Hamilton might have crashed. Mercedes would have, done something with that pit stop. I was watching the race replay. We had a restart. Hamilton got away well. I mean, I thought that this might be the lap where he crashes, and he goes straight. I mean, is this really Lewis Hamilton? What happened?
Before all those things happened, when it was Louis, it was Max Verstappen on before lap, after lap 30 when Lance Stroll in the incident happened with Lance Stroll. There was this kind of green, and Max Verstappen on the top, second Sergio Perez, third Lewis Hamilton, fourth Sebastian Vettel, and fifth Gasly. So that happened, and I was thinking that it would be amazing to see Verstappen, Perez, and Sebastian Vettel on the top. Right? But Akshat, I said to myself that Akshat, what would be the great if Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel, and Pierre Gasly finishes on the podium. And after seeing the result, I was like, man, why didn't you tweeted that? You could have tweeted that, and that would have been blown out. I literally thought, just that kind of thoughts comes in your mind just for a second, and you think like that. And
It's the
because Pierre
chance to
Gasly,
become a hero, eh? It's the
yeah, it
chance to
was
become a hero, eh? Is
Pierre
it like that?
Gasly was just yeah, it was like that. Pierre Gasly
We
was
could
just
be here on
behind.
WTF1, WTF1.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I exactly I'm really not joking. So I swear that I really thought for a second I thought that it would be great to see Pierre Gasly on the podium as well with Sebastian Vettel and Checo Perez. These three drivers are very underrated and they are the amazing.
yeah.
But I thought who's gonna take out Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton out of the three? I
So
mean,
Pirelli.
again I said that what the
Your
hell
answer
I'm
would be
thinking.
Pirelli.
Exactly. My answer was Pirelli and the magic button. So
What
coming to the
is
magic
the order of
button.
magic button, man? Seriously.
So Bhrugu,
What is magic button?
Bhrugu,
Yeah.
yeah, take it
Bhrugu,
away. Yeah.
please take it away and let us know
Let us
what
know
the
our
hell
folks.
is this
Let us
magic
know.
button.
Let us know our folks.
Okay. Okay. So if we consider a normal car, when there is a VSC or SC or just a, you are having your formation mode. So you need to heat up your tires and your brakes both, or they won't work. So what you generally do is that you have generally a brake bias of 60-40, 60 to the front, 40 to the rear.
What is it?
Yeah.
And drivers just set up their biases to 56 or 57 to the front. They fine tune that. So if you want to just switch your brake bias to the front, you have to make some 5 or 6 toggles to just do that. And that setting doesn't change your brake pressure, or these cars have BBW, which means brake by wire system. So this car doesn't switch your plausibility. That means in which means that if you press your 20% of your pedal, how much force is going to be on the caliper. that setting doesn't change that. So what Mercedes Mercedes did that, they have a default setting for that, which means you just pressed one button and that whole thing changes. Your brake bias moves to the front, and you have more pressure throughout your pedal to the caliper going on. So it's just a simple, toggle programmed switch, you must say. It's very simple but very helpful for the driver. But as we have seen, not so helpful in
Not so
case of
simple and not so helpful for Lewis
Not so
Hamilton.
simple and not
exactly.
so
So at
causing
turn
around
one,
how many grids? Causing around how many grids?
Just
Anyone
one
counted?
last, I guess.
sorry.
Causing how many grids? Anyone counted it?
Yeah, he was at pit 70 after that incident happened. He
16,
was at
yeah.
the end of the grid. At the end of the grid.
So bad.
Okay.
That's even sounds. That doesn't even sound like Mercedes.
Sound exactly. It was this two street circuit wasn't compatible with that Mercedes car. They
Exactly.
just didn't let that Mercedes do anything. So it wasn't the Mercedes day, neither in Monaco nor in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
So at the end of the finishing lap, Checo checkered flag is waving and Checo comes P1. Sebastian Vettel P2 and the driver of the day. Oh man, what a feeling. And P3 Pierre Gasly. And at the end of the pit lane, Sergio Perez stops his car. I remember it correctly now. It was because of a hydraulic issue.
Oh,
If that hydraulic would have if that hydraulic would have dropped, suspension wouldn't work, and that car would have just exactly ended up like Verstappen's car. So so you have to give it to Sergio Perez to manage his tires as well as his hydraulics. So that guy is an insane level.
insane.
So it
And
was an
and
amazing.
yeah, I've read it somewhere that ideal race car dies 100 meters before the finish line. So yeah, Red Bull gave him
I
the
guess.
ideal race car.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it was an amazing podium to see, and to sum it up with all, and to get out all the feelings that Paaji is keeping in his heart about all the underrated drivers. I want to end this podcast with the section of the underrated drivers.
Oh God,
Let's start
here
with
he goes
Paaji.
again. Here he goes again, man. Seriously.
It won't take time, Vanshil, don't worry. It will just take about 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe. So let's start with Pierre Gasly, Paaji. Pierre Gasly has been performing amazingly till from the 2020 to 2021
Yes,
in that
he
Alpha
is
job.
on a mission of redemption. Obviously,
He won't go
he
to Red
wants
Bull
that
though.
he,
He would not
he
go to Red Bull. Never.
now if he has
Obvious.
Red Bull offers, he was like he will think twice. For the first time, he was like, okay, I'm very excited. I'll go for Red Bull, but now he'll think twice. Either he'll
Exactly.
stay in Alpha Tauri and will make the team even more strong.
Exactly. And the second underrated driver I want to talk about is Lance Stroll. We talk about, Daddy Stroll owning the team and everything, the credit driver and all that shit. But that guy actually has a potential. We saw in Turkey, we saw in Monaco, and we saw in Azerbaijan, because that guy can handle his tires.
Mm-hmm.
He can manage tires very well for being young, for being not that much experienced. And yet he was at some point before the incident, he was on P4. So if he pitted, if that incident didn't happen and he pitted for softs or mediums, whatever the team decides, he would have been still, ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. So he will still be on P7. So it's a great deal for Aston Martin, for both of the driver. If that happen, if there's a big if, but Lance Stroll is doing amazing in this season too. And I want to end this. See, Vanshil, it's already at the end. So I want to end it with Paji's. Paji wanted to talk about that. Giovinazzi, Antonio Giovinazzi, our F1's Jesus,
Italian Jesus.
Italian Jesus. Yeah.
Correct name. It's very much correct. Yeah, man. Consistent. He is consistent. He never drops like okay. He never gets into qualify. He got once in qualify three, I guess. Only once, I guess. But he maintains his consistency and he tries his level best to score points for us. Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. Alpha Romeo. So, in a nutshell, he's a very good driver, and if everything went well, and if Suderia or Tiposis find him worthy enough, obviously in future is red, future is bright.
For Giovinazzi, what I think is he's learning from he's been with Kimi Raikkonen for so long now.
Yeah.
So if obviously Kimi won't be teaching him ABCD of Formula One, but he sees and he learns. He's learning from one of the greatest drivers of all time, if not the best. But if Kimi leaves, he is well and ready enough to lead Alfa Romeo, man. I mean, he's been a good driver.
Even before 2020, if I remember it correctly, Giovinazzi said in the interview with Sky Sport or Motorsport, I don't remember it correctly again, but he said that I want to be in Ferrari. I feel like that I have a potential and I can drive a Ferrari for for the whole season. If they gave me a chance, I can prove it to them.
He's an Italian. What else do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? Ferrari might give him a chance.
Yeah.
He has a red blood.
Yeah, he has that in blood.
So that was all. Yeah, so that was all about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Vanshil, I hope you love editing this podcast and you enjoy your 14-day quarantine in Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So,
man, the Canadian
congratulations.
Grand
Many
Prix got
congratulations.
cancelled. Otherwise, you won't be able to watch it.
That was
Watch it,
one of
he
my
would have
purpose to
spectated.
come over here, man.
Watch it, he would have definitely spectated.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it got cancelled, so you still have a chance for a US Grand Prix, but let's see what happens.
But
It's
you know
all
what, Vanshil? But you know what, Vanshil? Just have an eye on Canadian Tire Motorsport Park over there, around 14 or 15 miles from Toronto. It's a great track. Like, it's a similar track as Curry in India.
Yeah, exactly,
It's
exactly.
Canadian Tire Motorsport Park in Canada. So
Yeah,
just have an eye on that track. There are a lot of motorsport activities
exactly. And
happening.
go for some go-karting events and all that. Don't forget
Yeah.
about that, those two.
Once I have some blessings from, let's say, Vijay Malia and Daddy Stroll. Once I have enough cash,
Man, now it's finally time to end this podcast because we are just blabbing about things right now. So that was it about Azerbaijan Grand Prix. I hope you guys loved it. We loved it, and I hope you guys love this podcast too. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for National Formula One. Give a like, share it to your friends, share it to the motorsport lovers. Don't forget to follow our social media pages as well. We are back on track on social media. I am posting.
you are still
I
lagging,
am.
Akshat.
Well, man, I am working all day. So what do you expect from me?
Of course.
I am trying.
We will get back on track.
We will. Yeah, we will
All of
be
us are
totally back
kind
on
of
track.
transiting through a lot of different.
Exactly. So many things. We have so much things on our plate right now, in our hand, on our plate, whatever you consider. Yeah. So just be safe. Wear your masks, wash your hands, be in your homes, and enjoy the Formula One. See ya, guys. Take care.
See you guys. Bye bye.
Peace out.